German scientist Karl Stetter is returning for the 10th time to the tiny island of Vulcano off the coast of Italy. In ancient times, this active volcano was believed to be the gateway to Hades, land of the dead.
I love these guys, these volcanoes, and there are only two ways. Either you like them or you hate them. I like even the sulfur smell. So this is an environment which really makes me excited thinking and dreaming of the primitive Earth. It's very stimulating for me.
At the age of 58, Karl Stetter is focusing his considerable energy on a monumental task: unraveling the mystery of early life on Earth. But Stetter is not searching for fossils. He is searching for microbes, what most of us casually dismiss as germs, but are really tiny fellow residents of our planet, who inhabit a world that is even more complex and diverse than the world we can see.
When I was a little child already, my parents donated me for Christmas a little microscope, and I looked in it. I saw all these many shapes of things, of amoeba and bacteria, and so I became so excited. I said, I must work on this. Now I'm so happy that I even can search for the deep organisms in the tree of life.
The tree of life. For thousands of years, human beings have thought of life as being divided into just two branches, one for plants and one for animals. Now, through breakthroughs in the understanding of DNA, scientists are painting a very different picture of the tree of life. Their most amazing discoveries are about the evolutionary relationship between human beings and microbes.
Microbes are everywhere, and for example, even on my skin, there are hundreds of thousands per square inch, and they are growing there and they're protecting the skin from organisms which are harmful to us.
On your skin, there is a world in which hair follicles tower like redwoods, and dust mites are the largest animal. And far smaller still, there are microbes living by the trillions. For those of us who think of microbes as germs, it's hard to believe that tiny life forms like these might have a place on our family tree. Yet that is exactly what Karl Stetter is out to prove. How? Just as any one of us might learn more about the history of our own family by tracking down our oldest living relative. Stetter searches for the hottest spots he can find, hoping to locate the modern life forms most closely related to the first life on Earth. But why hotspots? From studying microbe fossils, scientists are convinced that life on Earth began before 3.5 billion years ago. But from studying rocks, they've discovered that before 3.5 billion years ago, our planet was still steaming hot and covered by oceans that regularly reached the boiling point. All of which made for a riddle. What can live in boiling water? Microbes that thrive in boiling water, first discovered by Karl Stetter on the island of Vulcano. These amazing microbes live in an environment very much like that of the early Earth.
Some of these microbes, especially the ones which grow in this high temperature environments, they are very different from our way of living. We are, for example, we like to have roast pork, and on the other hand, we need oxygen to do our respiration. And these guys, instead of pork, they like hydrogen gas, and instead of oxygen, they like sulfur, and you see it all here, yellow, that's a stinky gas of stink bombs.
These heat-loving microbes inhabit such remarkable homes as the boiling mud on the ocean floor near a volcano.
The temperature is about 90 to 95 centigrade, so it's really damn hot, this sediment.
Stetter is on a mission to gather more samples of these microbes he affectionately calls bugs. He is particularly interested in a species he named Dermatoga maritima.
A lot of high temperature bugs are already in, and this will be very interesting to look at it in the lab.
This is Regensburg, Germany, founded 2,000 years ago by the Romans. For 400 years, home to the kings of Bavaria. And today, home to Karl Stetter. As he returns to Regensburg, Stetter's goal is to find out for certain how closely related Dermatoga is to the first life on Earth. To do that, he needs to isolate Dermatoga's DNA. This is Regensburg's world-famous boys' choir. One way to think of DNA is as the recipe for producing a particular kind of organism, in the same way that a musical score is the recipe for producing a particular piece of music. In Western music, hard as it is to believe, the instructions for all the wonderful and complex songs ever written are made up of just 8 different notes. In DNA, hard as it is to believe, the instructions for all the wonderful and complex organisms ever produced, including us human beings, are made up of only 4 different chemicals. In music, the basic notes have been arranged and rearranged in an almost infinite number of combinations to produce a unique score for every song that has ever been sung. In DNA, the basic chemicals have been arranged and rearranged in an almost infinite number of combinations to produce a unique score for every organism that has ever existed. From bacteria to boys. Stetter knows that if scientists can study the score of Dermatoga's DNA, they can find out where it belongs on the tree of life. But for Stetter and his team at the University of Regensburg, to gather enough DNA to study is just short of impossible. The sample from Volcano contains just a few invisible microbes with the tiniest imaginable amount of DNA inside them. To get more DNA, Stetter has to get Dermatoga to live and multiply in his lab. And that means somehow recreating the environment in which the microbes were living on the volcano, indoors.
Nothing is impossible. You have to try to do it, and you have to use all tools and mainly your brain to find out how to get it and there are many things which are possible and which can be made.
Stetter began by putting the sample of Thermatoga in a high-tech brewer's vat. Then he pumps in steaming hot water at what he believes is just the right temperature, and adds what he thinks is just the right combination of hydrogen and sulfur. Then he lets his indoor volcano go to work.
But I always say, I hope never it will erupt.
Stetter is driven by a determination to succeed where many others have failed. So far, only a minute fraction of the microbes that live in nature have been successfully grown in the lab. Growing microbes might be compared to a gardener trying to get a rare orchid from the heart of the rainforest to flourish in a greenhouse.
If you look carefully, you find the requirement. And it's very similar with the orchids. Some you have to hang them up into the roof, otherwise they will not be happy. Some people say I have a green thumb, but you see it's not so green.
In the lab, Stetter has reached the moment of truth. Has his green thumb produced a happy, multiplying population of Thermatoga? Or is something wrong with his recipe and the microbes have died?
Oh, it looks excellent. Before it was completely clear, but now the microorganisms have been grown and there are about 100 million per cubic centimeter. And so, therefore it's turbid and not clear anymore. And that we know it was growing very well.
By morning, the tiny sample of Thermatoga from Volcano has grown into trillions of cells of Thermatoga, which have been collected on the special filter.
Well, that's a lot. That's about 10,000 billions of cells. And they're all alive. And this is the real color of this stuff. It's almost like yeast.
Stetter and his team have grown more than enough Thermatoga cells, enabling them to extract more than enough DNA for scientists to work with.
That's DNA from Thermatoga maritima, and that's a lot.
It is gooey material like this that contains the instructions for creating all life on Earth.
Normally, we work hard, but this evening, let's drink hard. Prost! Cheers!
Karl Stetter's harvesting of Thermatoga's DNA is a remarkable accomplishment.
Prost!
But for other scientists, harvesting the DNA of an organism is not an end, but a beginning.
Damn good stuff.